Welcome back to the CNC Auto Show. The with the videos going now, we there's videos on Facebook and it shows the entire studio, and of course they can see me dancing right before the thing comes up.
Hopefully they'll edit that out.
Okay, we're gonna give our quick springtime tip, and then we're going straight to the phone. Springtime tip, short and sweet. Have the battery checked. Make sure the battery's in good shape, because many times that hot weather can push a borderline battery completely over the edge, and you know how that works.
That's right.
When you need it most is when it goes. So have
when
the
you're
battery
at the beach
checked.
or something like that.
Yeah, if it's 4 or 5 years old, I believe I'd just go ahead and say, hey, let's get another one.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, where are we going?
All right, let's go over to Max, Aaron.
Hello, Max, and welcome to the CNC Auto Show.
Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for calling.
A Toyota Corolla.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. First-time caller. And I take it to the dealership, which I bought it from to get it serviced, and then I have a mechanic that I trust. Last time I took it in for the oil change, they said, and I'm going to say this incorrectly, I needed my driver's side front axle boot replaced. They quoted me about $980 to about $1,200, and then I took it to my mechanic, and he said about $450 out the door. Now, when I took it back to the dealership, they said I need to be wary of that because they couldn't even purchase it for that price. I'm wondering if both could be true, or I'm getting, played here.
No, there's a lot of things that remanufactured parts work well on. Here's an example. I normally would never use a remanufactured or a anything other than a new master cylinder.
Right.
An AC compressor, I only use new ones. But on most cars, now this is not all, like there's certain Asian cars and certain European cars that only use new alternators and starters. But as a general rule, remanufactured starters, alternators, transmissions, all are, you can buy a remanufactured one, even in some cases even better than a brand new one, because they have determined what went wrong in the process of the new one, and they have strengthened it with the remanufactured. Drive axles fall into that category. You can buy a new drive axle, which probably would be $900,
right,
or you can get a very good, high-quality remanufactured drive axle for half the price, and it be just as good, in some cases better, have a good warranty. And for instance, if that store that's doing it happens to be a Napa Auto Care Center, you get a 2-year, 24,000-mile warranty anyway. Right. So I would say that the technician that you trust, the dealership is not trying to do something bad. I mean, they're not telling you something that's not true. It's just the cost that they would do it. But your trusted technician that you've been working with, I would go with that route in this case, because a remanufactured drive axle is absolutely fine.
Right.
Well, that makes sense. I really appreciate the help. Thank you.
Thank you for calling.
Yeah, great question.
Okay, the number to call is 706-863-5800. If you have a question about your car, truck, or SUV, you give us a call. John Ryan, who do we talk to next?
All right, Aaron, let's go over to Lee.
Hello, Lee, and welcome to the CNC Auto Show.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for calling. What can we help with?
98 Silverado driver's side door latch. Chevrolet Tech has told me in the past that hinges have drooped and caused the door latch to experience wear.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any background information to help with that?
Yeah, Lee, that's actually quite common. Just as he mentioned, there's door pins in the hinges. They have little brass bushings. And as that door opens and closes a million times over the lifespan of the car, the bushings start to wear. So, of course, that causes a minor misalignment issue. And when that latch goes up on the striker, it really kind of pulls it in the wrong direction, mainly just because it's not lined up. If you can picture a gate, like a wood gate, and when it closes, that latch has got to line up perfect with it. Otherwise, it requires a little bit more effort to close the door. So it definitely can wear that latch assembly out for sure.
And Lee, if you don't mind, can I mention something that'll keep other people from going through the same thing that you're going through?
Go right ahead.
It's WD-40. What happens is a lot of times the door hinges just get dry, and when they're dry and you open and close them, they wear more. The other thing that goes next after that, they'll get a little wear, the hinges start to droop, and then the door striker will go bad. There's supposed to be a little plastic thing around the striker.
Right.
That causes play right there, and that lets the door just gradually sag more and more, wear more and more, and it's just domino effect, more and more issues. So keeping the door hinges lubricated, the door strikers replaced if they needed, which are under $5, then it will make that last much longer.
But what is the $5 part again called?
Door striker.
Striker,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Now,
and it's the part that's on the body itself that the latch wraps around when you close the door.
And
Napa has those
has
in
the
stock.
plastic on it.
Right, Lee. Also, that a quick tip on those. Now, no doubt your hinges may have some play, but that striker does have minor adjustment to it.
Yeah.
You can't, if the door was falling off, you still couldn't adjust it that much. But if it's a minor adjustment issue, you can pick up a little bit.
Yeah, it'll make the
part
door
that is covered
close
with
tighter because it makes, when that plastic's on there, it's larger around and it makes the door striker grab it good. And I've had cases to where even though a door has a little slack in it,
Right.
that we've been able to replace the door striker, and a couple of us will try to lift up the door and kind of get it up there and then adjust it outright. And even with the little bit of play, you can still get a lot more wear out of the door hinges, because those, I don't mind telling you, door hinges are a little bit of a pain to replace. Somebody makes a kit for those that you can put in.
Dorman does.
But those are a pain too. So
The other
So you-
option, of course, is get out the passenger side.
You're suggesting the striker rather than the hinge pins. Now, this vehicle only has 67,000 miles on it. What if someone had that as a service truck and they open and close the door every time they read a meter? That's really... Has Chevrolet ever done any recall on that?
no, they have not. But like I mentioned, what I found in the past, and this is something that very few people do, so don't think I'm saying something bad that you did wrong. But just keeping those door hinges lubricated with WD-40 in our ride-up area, in our drive-in lane, and
Service
in our pickup area, we keep a can of WD-40 right there. And whenever I hear even the slightest squeak in one, I'll not only lube that one, but walk around and do the other ones. If everyone kept just a little can of WD-40 around and just spray things
Well,
like
the
that.
dealers serviced it, and they kept enough on it. They used white lithium, I think, a lot or whatever. In fact, you had to watch your clothing getting in and out to make sure that you get anything on you. It was lubed so often. So I think it's a design flaw by General Motors. And again,
This
have
may-
they done any recall?
Yeah, this may go against what even what the book says. The book says white lithium. White lithium is good for the area that clicks, the detent part of it, but the white lithium never really soaks completely into the hinge
That's what I thought.
itself.
Well, and of course it'll attract dirt too.
Yeah, and
It
attract
gives
dirt.
it something to stick to.
Yeah, I would. I don't mind telling you hinges. I like WD-40, and I'm going out on a limb
Right.
saying
There,
that.
there is another chemical, of course, pen grease. It,
Yeah.
during friction, it actually becomes a lubricant. But
Yeah, but
Think
no.
what
In
would help
answer to
get
the
white
other,
lithium off.
yeah, well, I wouldn't
coated.
necessarily get it off. You might just, if you were going to get it off, I'd spray it off with some brake clean, spray everything with WD-40 real good, and get them, and just make sure there's no squeaking noise. But answer to the question on the part having to do with the recalls that I know of, I've never seen a recall on the door hinges.
But the latch part is replaceable, and would it have to be a dealer item?
no, they make aftermarket, and many people can replace that for you.
Now, you're talking about the striker?
No.
Oh, the
The,
latch.
one is, the piece is covered with plastic. One tech told me they cut that plastic off when it's presenting a problem.
Well, the plastic gets hard, brittle, and then when it starts dropping, sagging down a little bit, it hits that plastic and breaks the plastic, and then that just compounds the problem because the door sags even more because it's got more space to drop down.
Too, Lee, you will hate that truck if you cut that off because you will have the most annoying noise in that door when you go over bumps because the door will actually shift on the striker.
Yeah, I would replace the door striker. I wouldn't with a new one with the plastic on it.
And the striker does come with the plastic already on
Yes,
it,
correct.
hybrid type.
And Napa has those in stock.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We
Appreciate
do
your call.
appreciate your call. Okay, whoa, we are just about out of time.
Yeah, you like to talk.
Whoa, good gracious, man, great show. I enjoyed very much of it. Okay, the time clock's on E, and we we do need to pull over for just a little bit, but we will be back. I'm gonna ask if there is a chance that Ron and Tony and the others will hold on. or if they will call back right after this show and for our next hour. And if they will, because the time clock is on E right now, we'll be pulling over. I'm Aaron Clements, and I'm with the CNC Auto Show, and we have co-host John Ryan Mooney here with me, and we have had a great time today. Our show producers are Zach Llewellyn, Bo Roberts, and that's Dominic Frito and Sandy Klein. And each and every one of us would like to say thank you for tuning in to the CNC Auto Show. And we'll be back with another hour very shortly. And we'll have more springtime tips and all of the other things that go with that. All that having to do with the CNC Auto Show.